All right. For all my people out there in the internet land, Facebook Live, we are live right now. What's up? You are tuned in to the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. We got a Q&A workshop we're about to do with the legendary Dj-Numark. Stay tuned. We'll be getting started shortly. All right. Welcome, 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 welcome. Tell a friend. Share the post. Let people know that we're on right now. Facebook Live, y'all. That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Facebook Live, we're about to get started here shortly. Dj-Numark in the building. Big ups to everyone in the house right now. Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. Everybody came out to see you. All right.
We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah. Jerome, Jeremy, Mike. What's up, y'all?
Yes.
Big ups to all our students in the place to be. I see y'all. What's up? Yeah. New and old. Good to see some of y'all. Good to see, not some of y'all, all of y'all. It's good to see all of y'all. Let me get it right. Sorry. Excuse my delirious words of just coming out. I'm a little delirious right now, but it's all good.
He just came back from Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Vegas.
I didn't choose this life chose me.
Orderly.
All right. Again, we are on Facebook Live. Big ups to our viewers out there on Facebook Live. One time for your mind. You are checking out the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound Q&A
indeed.
workshop. Everybody in the house, make some noise for yourselves right now. What's up?
Yippee!
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming out. You are at the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound once again. My name is Mr. Chalk, representing the world famous Beat Junkies. What's up? How you guys doing? What's up? What's up?
Yep. My name is Rep Matic, representing Beat Junkies here also. How you doing?
Yep. Can we give up some love to our staff real quick? Of course, the principal in the place to be, Maricel. Make some noise for her, representing Ladies of Sound. We got Silos, our general manager, on the floor holding us down. Make some noise for Silos. We got Sammy G, representing Ladies of Sound in the place to be. Hey. Michael Miguel, Nestor, and of course, Jay, all holding us down on the floor. Also, make some noise, everybody. All right. So look, I know why everyone's tuned in to the Facebook Live right now and viewing. I know why all you guys are here. Let's get to it right about now. This man is a legend. We've been waiting a long time to do this. We've known this man forever, but it's now time now for you guys to get better acquainted with the man, all right? Let's call him out right now. Please put your hands together and make some noise for the legendary Dj-Numark.
Yep, there we go. Make some noise. Come on.
Uncle New. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Of course, man. Here you go. There you go. Talk to the people.
Hey. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, make some noise for me, guys. Here he is in the flesh.
Yes.
You guys have no idea that, of course you guys know, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys follow on Instagram, but this is a busy man. So the fact that he finally has time to come over here and hang out with us and talk to you guys is greatly appreciated. Numark.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out, y'all.
Yes.
Right on.
So like I said, we've known each other for a long time, but I need to know more about you, Nu. So let's get right into it, man. I need to know.
We're going to ask everything.
Everything. All right, here we go.
All right.
I need to know, what was the year, what was the age that you got into music? What was the genre, the first genre that you said that made you realize, like, I love this? Not even talking about DJing yet, just music. What made you fall in love with music?
At the age of 7 or 8, I was completely infatuated with drums. So I kept asking my parents, I want some drums, So I got like they kind of thought it was a phase, my life, being a kid. So they ended up giving me like a snare drum, but it was like a kid's drum. I annoyed the shit out of them with that for a while. And then later on I got a drum set. Then I played in like, as far as genre of music, I had a next door neighbor that was playing drums, but he was just playing beats. And so I never really knew what he was into. I just was like kind of bugging out on the syncopation of it all. Like, wait, he's moving his feet and his hands, doing two different things. So something about that intrigued me. By the time junior high rolled around, I was like in jazz class. And then that's where I got introduced into hip hop. And that was like the real first genre that completely encapsulated my brain and just grabbed me by the neck and said, I got you.
So when you first got the drums, you started teaching yourself first?
I was mimicking like Led Zeppelin breaks and trying to be like John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, just trying to get his kick, boom, 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 boom,
And this was all just because like you was feeling the music. It wasn't something that you felt someone needed to show you how to do. You felt like you had a good understanding of it and a good approach to it already?
There was two things that happened. One I just really enjoyed watching it, and something about the drums just got me. But there was a battle. I had to battle a kid that was like 3 times my size, a drum battle.
Okay.
In junior high, in front of all the girls I had crushes on and all that.
The pressure.
Yeah, that was insanity. And so. Yeah, like he was like towering over his drum set, and I was like Kermit the Frog underneath mine, tiny, like, below the toms, like all you could see was my eyes. And so that really prepped me to kind of take it seriously, like, oh, actually, stakes can kind of get high, in musicianship. And I didn't know that. I was like, I don't like sports because it's too competitive. I want to get into music, and then music kind of started to become competitive.
Music is just as competitive as sports to me, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Did you take lessons, drum lessons?
I took one lesson and then I taught myself after.
That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Ooh, if you guys have never seen this man on the drums, he's nasty with it too. So the fact that he only took one lesson and taught himself is amazing.
I'm rusty now, though.
So,
Y'all are better than me.
so let's talk about, like, okay, obviously drums is like your first love. When did you start getting into DJing or even hip hop?
Yeah, DJing has been last for me, actually. I went from being in that jazz class, playing drums, to sneaking in a Roland 626, Roland 606. I forgot which one it is. But while like the orchestral director was like working on the horn section, I would have my headphones on trying to figure out what I was hearing on the radio. Like, what are those, like, how did they do that pattern? So I actually got into programming first. And then I got 3 drum machines. I got that drum machine, the 707, and then the 808. And then I was like,
Ooh.
damn, turntables look like they could be fun.
Right.
And that was from my best friend, Chris Cook. At the time, I was, 12 years old, 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
His uncle used to go back and forth from New York and bring the latest releases from New York. That was obviously way before the internet. And we'd get releases here like 3 or 4 months later than New York. And so he'd play stuff and we'd be breakdancing in the living room to him, like, wow, and I'd be like, how's your uncle repeating this part? Like, duck, 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 duck. how's he doing that? Like,
Because you didn't know it was doubles at the time.
Yeah, he was giving us mixed tapes to break to. And so then he's like, let's go to his room. And he would be cutting live. And I was like, oh my God. And that was it. That was like.
And so you what did you do? You went out and bought your own turntables, or had your family and your parents buy them, or what'd you do? How'd you do it?
At that time, I was working at Carvel Ice Cream. That was my first job.
Hey.
Carvel ice cream.
Yeah. And so I saved up and got, I might got the story a little bit wrong. I think it was right when I saved up and got a pair of beat up Technique servos that were belt driven. So like every blend you have to kind of push. Like you can't just let go of the record. You have to push everything in.
Yeah.
And there was none of this pitch control. It was a wheel.
Yep.
And there was no number, so you had to kind of feel it. You're just
I
kind
had
of
one
like
of those myself.
Yes.
Yep.
massaging it the whole time. So, and then that kind of led me to house parties with a crew called Bum Rush Productions.
There
Actually,
we go.
my
Rhett.
man Amani's right there. He was part of the crew.
What up?
Put your hand up, brother. Put your hand up.
There you go.
Raise
What
them
up?
high. There it is.
There you
The
go.
original.
Yeah.
So Bum Rush Productions was your mobile DJ crew per se.
Yeah. So there was like a crew of 5 or 6 of us that would go out and.
And where were you guys based at?
We were in the Valley, San Fernando Valley. We
Okay.
would do like a handful of LA parties, but we were San Fernando Valley driven, and we do like sometimes 2 to 3 parties over a weekend, which is a big deal when you're 15.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So you were doing house parties and.
Yeah. Our first house party, we set up the turntables on a ironing board. We didn't have like no tables, no nothing. And then the records weren't even in crates. They were stacked up flat on the ground, like one on top of each other. So we like sift through,
Not the best way to
No.
dig through records.
Yeah, but it was the best house party ever. And before that, I was just a bedroom DJ. And the guy that I was telling you about, that his uncle that showed us about DJing, that would go back and forth to New York, my best friend Chris introduced me to Amani, part of Bum Rush Productions, and then we started doing mobile gigs like that. And they're like, we need speakers for the first gig. We don't have speakers. Let's use yours. I'm like, yeah, cool. They're going to get messed up. No, they're not. They were kicked in by the end of the night. Both cones just kicked in. I'm like,
That must have been a horrible
cool.
feeling.
We got any other gigs?
So from there, you started doing gigs and you started DJing and everything. And how did you come about? Or who did you start first meeting as far as like other DJs? Were you running into cats, or were you like listening to people on K-Day at the time? Because we're talking about the '80s right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where were you? What was your inspiration coming from? Other DJs or just you learning on your own?
Mixtapes, other DJs, really other DJs for real, because we would go out. See, when we didn't get a gig, we were kind of like butthurt about it. Like, damn, how come we didn't get that gig? And we would go to wherever the party is, and it'd be like DJ Arrow, who was like the illest dude in that neck of the woods, just killing it. Like, oh, okay, we got to step it up. Like he's chirping and doing stabs on his cuts, triplets and stuff like that. That was like the thing then. And then we got one of his mixtapes, and we were like, damn, this dude is like on fire. Like, we got to step it up. So it was like I'd say watching other DJs and hearing other DJs was the biggest kick in the ass for us. You know?
Yeah. So were you listening heavily to K-Day also back in those days too?
Yeah, definitely. K-Day was a big influence because they were breaking records. They were selectors.
Right.
You know, they weren't afraid to play something that was out of the norm. And I remember when they played Public Enemy for the first time, it was a big like ruckus at the station about it. Like, this doesn't fit into our mold. And then,
Well, Rebel Without a Pause?
yes, Rebel Without a Pause. Yeah.
I don't know what this
Yeah.
world is coming to.
Yeah.
Yes, the rhythm. Okay, now I can rap the whole song
And
for
I
y'all.
I was like, what is in the background? Is that a teapot?
Yeah.
What is going on? What is? And I thought at the time it felt like it was like punk rock hip hop.
Right.
For me, because I had a like big ska influence and rock influence, which I mentioned before. And I guess the most beautiful thing about growing up in the time that we did was there was a deep appreciation for funk and soul, James Brown.
Yeah, for sure.
But there was, ska and rock and new wave was coming out. All that was just kind of fun.
High energy, all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
too,
and then there was this birth of a brand new culture, hip hop. It was just so exciting and moving so fast. Like you could be sprinting towards it and still be way behind in the race.
Very true.
So let's kind of fast forward a little bit now. How did you hook up with Cut Chemist? Does everybody know who Cut Chemist is? Just
Make
raise
some
your
noise for the homie Cut Chemist real quick.
No.
So, Cut's a funny dude. Okay, so I first saw Cut. There was an event here in LA called the Rat Race, where
yes.
they would bring live musicians on stage and invite MCs to freestyle over the live musicians. So they would just hold a groove, and the musicians would play along, and the MCs would rhyme along. So Cut was there with Charlie Tuna, Mark 7, of a crew called Unity Committee, and I saw one performance, and then the guy that threw that event said, hey, we want to get more guys together in a rehearsal studio to kind of get this tighter.
Right.
So he walked in, and I was I hooked up my mixer to a guitar pedal, wah-wah pedal, and I was cutting like that, and he was like, whoa, DJ Hendrix, what's up? So
Hendrix.
After that, we just kind of like
Click.
yeah, we just clicked.
Right.
And I would, spend a lot of time kind of just at his house, and he'd be like, yo, look what I made. And he'd play me an exact replica of like a Grand Poobah beat or like, any popular hip hop song. Like, so his thing was he would recreate it to the T. And I was like, why are you buying the records that they already sampled, and why are you recreating it? And he's like, oh, that's how I want to learn. I'm like, oh, that's dope. So yeah, I had a completely different approach, and that's why we connected.
Would you say that early 90s or late 80s?
That was early 90s.
Early
yeah,
90s.
Yeah, right at the top of 91-ish too, in that area.
Now, when you linked up with Cut Chemist, with Cut, did you guys start really start DJing together, start making routines? Because I don't know if anyone knows, back in the days, you guys used to do two-man routines.
Yeah.
Very innovative stuff too
Yes,
that you guys were doing back then.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we got asked to do a few parties, and we were always like, okay, we already know Rock Raider's going to be absolutely smashing, doubles and doing things behind his back and all this stuff. So we just kind of came up with our own way of playing off of like funk and soul records and maybe something that the other DJs on stage wouldn't do.
Right.
And so, yeah, we kind of started coming up with things, but it was really only by like an order basis, like, oh, they want you to do something. Oh, we better get our shit together. Like, oh, we better, But other than that, it was really learning. Like, I learned how to dig for funk and soul loops and how to make beats through a guy named Brother Soul. And when I met Cut, he was the only guy that matched Brother Soul's knowledge.
Interesting.
And so the time I spent with Cut in the early days and a long time after was about learning, about always humbling yourself and going, oh, no, that was the drummer that played. That's Bernard Purdy. He played on this. He also played on this and countless other records.
So you guys were educating each other?
The whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I mean, besides you and Cut, were you also DJing? I know you, Marsky, right? Was Marsky?
Yep.
Yeah.
Marsky. Shout out to Marsky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marsky in a minute.
So, I mean, were you guys like a little crew or whatnot? Because I know you and Cut have an actual little little two-man crew called Less Than Six. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And what is the meaning of less than six?
Well, there's 6 people in Jurassic 5, and we're less than them.
Less than 6. There it is.
There you go.
Terrible public schooling on our part. Yeah, but nothing ever really came out. We made a dope demo, actually. We had like shortcut impressions on there and everything. But it never came out.
Shouts to Shortcut.
Yeah, shouts to Short. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to answer that one other than that. Yeah, we were always making something or doing something and experimenting.
Was Less Than Six also kind of like a homage to the lessons, like Steinsky?
Sort of, yeah, because, Cut did Lesson 6 based off of Steinsky's Lessons.
Right.
This is getting very nerdy. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah. These are classic records we're talking about, the Steinsky, just so
So
you guys
sorry.
know.
I'll ramp it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a little play off of that.
Right.
It just worked. I don't know, but
Okay.
it never came out.
Interesting.
What about as far as like with you and Cut hanging out and educating each other on music and techniques and everything? Was there ever like a friendly competition between you guys about like who could do what on the turntables or who could do what on the drum machine or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was always really healthy competition. I mean, everybody in Jurassic 5 had very healthy competition constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I also kind of figured out while we were kind of going through our healthy competition with the DJs with each other and the MCs with each other that, yeah, that's why Wu-Tang is so sharp, because there's 9 of them.
Yeah.
And so everybody's sword is getting sharper, and without any ill malice or anything like that, it's just like, oh, wow, you did that? Damn. I got to step up my game. So it's just, friendly competition all the time. Thank you, C.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as far as like you and Cut, how did the whole Jurassic 5 connection start happening? Like who met who first outside of you and Cut?
Right. So Jurassic 5 is 2 groups formed as one plus me. So Cut, Charlie Tuna, and Mark 7 were part of a group called Unity Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Akil, Soup, and another guy that passed away named Shawnee Mac were part of
Rest in
Rebels of
peace.
Rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was by myself. And all 3 of us were shopping demos
Okay.
and getting no's. I forgot which groups the A&R said to them, you guys need to sound more like the Uzi Brothers.
Well,
I still don't know who the Uzi Brothers
The
are.
Uzi Brothers.
But I mean,
And then when I shot my demo, they said you need to sound more like DJ Quick. And then, and then was it Profile?
Profile
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
you to sound like DJ Quick, but they had DJ Quick as an
Yeah,
artist.
Amani remembers because me and Amani had a demo together with Brother Soul.
Okay, all right.
In a group called Laszlo's Flow. Other side note there. And then Cut's group, Unity Committee, with Charlie Tuna said they were trying to sign to Jive, and they said, you guys sound too much like
Cold Crush Brothers?
Digital Underground, because
Oh.
they had Money B, and then the DJ looked like Cut, and the
Oh,
whole thing.
DJ Fuse.
Fuse.
Yeah.
That's his name. Fuse.
Yeah.
It's going to come to me at 3 a.m. So yeah, it's there was all that happening. It was the 90s.
Wow.
But obviously they put out a single, Rebels in Rhythm and Unity Committee was a Unified Rebellion.
Yeah.
But it was an independent label. Like I remember, it was a yellow label. But were you part of that?
Yeah, I actually have a song on there called Numark's Bonus Beats. So that was like the inception of it all. That was like us all hanging out and then finally putting something out and kind of taking notes from the East Coast, like labels like Fondulum, Bobito's label. Everybody was doing independent stuff. Not everybody, but there was a handful of labels that were doing cool things independently, and we weren't getting a deal. So it was like, let's just throw this out and see what happens. And then that's when the interest occurred.
Nice.
And that, would you say that's the birth of Jurassic 5?
Between that and our live performances would be the birth of J5, because by the time we went to Europe and performed, people wanted to know more about us. So the States was, lukewarm on us, but by the time we did a festival called Fresh 97, things kind of started to bubble for us, and then we had an independent deal with, it's escaping me.
Blunt Records?
Blunt, thank you, Rhett.
Rhett
You're an
Maddock.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah,
damn
he
you.
is. That's why he's up here with me today.
That's my man right there. I can't believe I forgot that label. And so we caught wind that they were just like, hey, these guys are cool. They're a novelty act. I was working at Correct Records right when that was happening, and so I was hearing everything.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I know
Sure.
me and Rhett were talking about that earlier. You actually went into the music industry and started working at Correct Records.
You were an A&R over there, right? But you were also doing some production work too as well. I believe you were also doing producing for a group called Manish.
Manish.
Yeah. So Correct Records was a small record label here on the West Coast that was kind of trying to model themselves after Raucous. You know, Raucous Records. You know, have Black Star and a bunch of other groups. And yeah, I was helping out with Manish. I was helping out with college promotion a lot. That's actually was the bulk of my time was college promotion at Correct Records. But then I signed one artist,
Right.
Grav.
Grav.
Can you please tell us who's Grav is? And because there's a connection. He's from Chicago, correct?
Yes. So Grav had a demo that I heard like 4 songs, and I was like, man, this guy's dope. And one of the songs, I was like, yo, who did this? And he was like, oh, this is Kid Kanye. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is '96 now. So now we're back a year. So I was like, yo, if you guys finish this record with Kanye doing the second half of the album, then we'll put it out. I got the green light from the label. So Kanye ended up doing the half of that album. The album's called Down to Earth. And that was Kanye's debut on record producing anything.
Kanye West, people.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Back in what, 96?
96.
And this is also too, you were coming up to Friday Night Flavors with Graph a lot also
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So I would see you all the time.
I'm telling you, he's dope. He's got a great producer.
That's exactly how he'd be selling it to me all the time. He's dope, man. He's really dope. I'd be like, okay, dude, we're gonna play the record. We're gonna play the record, man. Yeah. Right. So from there, of course, you working at a record label. You got your group, super group, Jurassic 5 going on. What's going on with Jurassic 5 now, and what's the future? Are you guys still together as a group? Is there a reunion coming up, or anything like that? What's happening?
We did a solid reunion and did like almost 4 years of touring over the reunion. So I think everybody's just kind of doing their own thing and exploring what it's like to be an independent artist solo.
Right.
And it's interesting, man. I'm all I ever wanted to be, when I was that 7-year-old kid, it was just either being a band as someone in the back hiding behind my hat, or a DJ as someone in the back hiding behind my back, behind the band. And wow, when your group breaks up, it's like, and the DJ became as big as the DJ became, as we saw,
You made the right decision, brother. As far as becoming a DJ and a producer and stuff, because you're right.
I mean, it's scary though, like, because I never really wanted to be in the front of anything. I never wanted to like have the spotlight on me in any way, shape, or form. And it takes a lot of being selfish to do that.
Right.
Because if you don't push your own brand, I mean, other people might push it a little bit, but they're not going to push it like you do, right? Right? I mean, you got to be your own biggest hero. You know what I mean? So
you got to believe in yourself first,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that you had confidence in what you were already doing and believed in yourself to keep pushing forward.
I'm still learning. I'm always learning. One thing I always say to people who ask me, how to DJ or they want to get into it, I'm like, just know that you'll never be a master. There's
True.
no such thing as being a master of anything artistic. You're always going to learn. So that actually is a big like relief off of my shoulders, and it should be to most people, because you're like, if you're trying to get to that Bruce Lee status, that's dope, that's great, but there's going to be someone that comes up and goes, yeah, but what about this?
Yeah.
And you're going to go,
Yeah. Back to the lab.
but that's why I like it, because it's a beautiful endless maze that you'll never conquer. You'll never conquer music.
Well, New, you definitely have your own style. You carved your own lane, and then
For sure.
But the craziest thing too is also people like your innovative way of performing. A lot of people don't know. Some people do from our generation, but you're pretty much one of the first people to do live finger drumming on drum machines and stuff. Now everybody's doing it. Shout outs to Exile. Shout outs to Jeremy Ellis. Shout outs to
Everybody doing the finger drumming thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that you were one of the first people, especially if you go to a Jurassic 5 show, you would have either SB1200 machine or MPC drum machine, and you would make beats right there live, and you actually be the real drummer while everybody's rhyming. Now, fast forward, I wanted to ask you about this this particular routine that it's almost emulating what the Pickles, the Executioners, the Junkies done in terms of team DJing or team band. You guys did 3-man drum machine live. You, Cut Chemist and DJ Shadow with a routine called Pushing Buttons.
Make some notes for Shadow, y'all.
Yeah.
Cut Chemist, yeah.
I mean, if you
Shout out
guys
to
have
Shadow.
not seen this, please Google it. You find it on YouTube. Now, and was this particular project was it on a Shadow project, or was this like this is a separate project of you guys' selves? And who came out with the idea?
That's on Shadow's album. It's I believe it's the last song on his. I don't know titles worth shit.
I can't remember.
On one of his albums.
Yeah.
And yeah. What else you got, Rhett? No. Basically Shadow seen me do, finger drumming and stuff like that back then.
Right.
And he reached out to Cut myself and said, hey, I'm going to be at a rehearsal studio. Would you guys like to get down and do like a 3-part like drum machine routine? And so we had like a Latin part, an electro part, all kinds of stuff going on in it. So yeah, it was an honor to do it. And the venue sounded amazing that night too. Usually, it's never like your bedroom, right? It's never like you get to the gig, like, oh man, this monitor's tripping, or this guy has the bass way too loud. What is he trying to prove? Right? There's always something, but. It was it might be one of like 5 performances where I was on stage and I was like finger drumming. I was like, this shit sounds amazing. I was like, I better concentrate. I'm gonna botch this whole thing up because I was just so impressed. Yeah. It was an honor to do that though, man. It was dope.
I gotta ask, man, because I've seen you do so many crazy entertaining things on stage. I remember seeing a show at the House of Blues when you performed with Jurassic 5 and you brought out a school desk, and this is when Grindin' came out by the Clips, and you played and you set up like some drum pads on the desk and you played Grindin' on the school desk. But you've always been someone that's been very innovative at not being scared to try different things. Like I've used a rubber band on a crossfader to get my cuts tighter. You used a rubber band on the needle to actually play bass. You incorporate toys into your sets. Where does this all come from as far as like you want to try all these different things just to be different, or you just figured like, yo, this will be dope?
Kind of going back to what Rhett was saying, I started out doing finger drumming on like SPs, and then everybody just got way fucking doper than me. Straight up. Like people did it better than I did. And so I had a choice. I was like, okay, do I chase that mastery thing I was talking about before? Do I chase it?
Right.
Do I chase the high? Or is it time for me to pivot and change gears and I lead the way? And not like they're going to follow me, but I lead my own destiny kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like where I go, okay, well, how can I box in the mirror and push myself?
Right.
Which is, really how I led to the Zodiac Tracks thing too.
I want to talk about that too.
At some point, you got to be happy in your own skin, right? And you doing the same set every time, or, I'm over here going, doom, cat, boom, boom, and then you got Arab music going, do all this. You're like, like, how can you feel like good about that?
Right.
So you have a choice, and so I got a little bit better at finger drumming, but was that my ultimate goal? It wasn't.
It was just one of many things that you were discovering and trying to figure out which direction you were going with.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't going to be Qbert, right? I wasn't going to be,
But you got nice cuts, son. You got nice cuts, yo.
You know where you're headed, right? Like
Right.
you kind of know. So like,
sure.
I wasn't going to be the double guy. I just wanted to be me.
You found your own lane, though, dude. That's why we're up here talking to you, because no one else in the world does what you do, dude.
Yes.
Nobody. And nobody could even if they tried, they couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Can't do it. No.
Like I've always just like been really a big fan of just how you discover how to do things. Like we have the Energizer Bunny up there. You guys are probably all looking at it who probably never seen him perform before. Like, what's the Energizer Bunny doing up here? But you'll see, this guy really has pushed the envelope for a long time, and he continues to, man. And man, I'm just happy to be sitting here and talking to you and knowing you for all these years, man. You inspire me, brother. So
Pleasure's mine. Likewise, man.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yes.
Pleasure's mine.
But let's go back to when you said the Zodiac mixes. That's a lot of work you put in, brother, to figure out like what sign, how many artists are under, like how do you even approach something like that? What made you think like I'm gonna do Zodiac mixes, and then what's the prep like for that? I need to know.
Should I explain to them what the Zodiac mixes
Yes,
are?
please.
Does anybody know the Zodiac mixes here?
Some of them might.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got a lot of people who don't.
Yeah,
So,
break it down. Break it down for them, please. Some of the illest stuff you'll ever see in your life, I promise you. But go ahead.
Thank you, Chalk. I'll send you a PayPal.
Venmo some.
So I decided Venmo. Okay. So I decided to mix influential artists or my favorite musical artists in using all vinyl and trying to match them obviously in the same BPM, the same key, and their same zodiac sign. So it started with my sign. I'm a Gemini, and so I did Gemini, and I released it on Facebook as a video, so people can see my every move and all that.
A lot of Cannibal Adderley.
Yeah,
because he announces all the Gemini.
Yeah.
Zodiac signs. Yeah.
And then everybody was like, "Hey, you got to do the other 11 player," and I'm like, "Oh!" So I wasn't ready because I did two Geminis because Geminis are twins. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So I overthought it. And then,
I mean, was this? This is all vinyl. You're using all vinyl, not Serato whatsoever. And then I noticed you're in 3 turntables.
Oh, it could be a number. It's not just 3.
It
It's a
depends
number
on
of
the
different
mix.
things he has set up.
Well, I mean, originally I seen it was like 3 turntables.
It turned into 4. It went back to 3. It went to 2 at one point. It's moved around a few times, but again, this was just about me pushing myself.
Right.
But I was also at a stage where I wanted to give back. And I kept getting like people like, "Yo, there's this charity. They want you to play for free over here," or "Hey, they need money over this charity." Da da da. And there was something that always kind of sat strange in my heart about it. I don't know if the money's going to the right people. I don't know if they're taking the money. I just you don't know nowadays.
Yeah,
Everything
you
is
don't.
so, like, you
Everybody's
just
got their
don't
own
know nowadays. And so I was like,
motive.
well, I want to give back to people who shaped me.
Yeah.
And so that was my way of doing it and pushing myself at the same time. It was kind of like a, 2-fer, a 3-fer, and there were some special mixes in there that I really like where the producer was, an Aquarius, and the guy they sampled was an Aquarius, and the MC was an Aquarius, and I was like, yeah, 3-fer, like I can say happy birthday 3 times at the end.
So you said you start off with Gemini, and then when you realized you're going to start doing the rest of the signs in the Zodiac. I remember me and you having a conversation here at the school. You told me that it was a mission for you to now go out and find these records. It's easy to find the MP3 of anything in this day and age, but this man really dedicated the time to, and he has one of the illest record collections already, but he dedicated the time to go find all these signs on vinyl, which speaks volumes about you, my friend. So, yes.
The hardest part was something I didn't expect, which is like anything you ever do, like when you make beats or when you practice DJing, it's always like the thing you underestimate. You're like, damn, I can't do that? That's the part of the routine I can't do? So for Zodiac Tracks, the hardest part, which I'm completely ashamed to say, was I didn't have a lot of the hip-hop songs. I had the original... On vinyl. I had the original samples from my record collection because that's how I dig. But I thought in my head I had Most Def, Black on Both Sides, because I had the MP3 so long. I thought it just embedded that, I have it. I've been playing that.
Right.
Go to look for it, I'm like, I never caught it on vinyl. Damn. So that screwed me up. And then researching all the birthdays, because there'd be conflicting birthdays on the net.
Yeah.
Especially with the older artists, the ones from the 60s and 70s, which is where the hip-hop artists sampled from. So I wanted to give everybody their light and their shine.
I got to be nosy. One more question, Red. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you go right now. But about the Zodiac stuff. So just watching the videos of you doing these routines, man, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. You're moving from one setup to another setup and grabbing records from a whole nother area and putting it on another turntable, setting that up while you're doing a mix here. Like, how many takes sometimes, man? Is it one take? One take, Jake? Or are you going a couple more? All day?
Is it edit?
No, honestly, the hardest part about Zodiac Tracks is what I just got through saying. I didn't have the hip-hop records.
That was it?
Yeah, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. No, if
That was the hardest part? Not having the records?
by far the hardest part. That was.
The execution was easy, in other words, is what he's saying, y'all.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
how long?
I'm y'all's age, right?
Yeah,
so I know my records.
Yeah. We're
But
professional
how
about
long
it.
did,
Professional about it, yeah.
But how long did you prep up? Like when you first did the Zodiac mix, how long did it take you to prep it up before you said, okay, start recording?
So I wish my man Pablo was here, who shot them. He was the guy, the video guy, and then Carla was here too. Carla, where you at? She's hiding. Anytime I call her name, she hides. Anyway, she shot the first season or almost the first season, so it was always within 3 to 5 takes. There was a few I got in 2 takes, you know.
Okay.
I know there was one I did in 1 take, but I don't remember which one it was because I did 6 takes after that, and it ended up the first one was the best one. You know how that goes. You're just chasing your tail.
You know this is a school, so everybody in here, you're getting homework right now. Even out there on Facebook Live, you're getting homework. Go and watch these videos, and you guys will see what we're talking about. What this man is doing in these videos is crazy incredible, all right? So go educate yourself on Numark real quick. Zodiac mixes, crazy, crazy fire.
And to answer what you were saying, thank you, man. It really means a lot. To answer your question, how many, with the prep time?
Yes.
It depended on the mix.
Right.
And you know what was kind of eerie about it was the mixes were starting to act like the signs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you Tauruses, man. I don't know, man.
I'm a Pisces, man, so that was a fly month.
Okay, yeah, the Tauruses were
hey, man.
very stubborn.
That's him.
That's
Hey,
you.
He's
You
a
don't even
Taurus.
act like one, man. You don't count. You're something else. You're an alien. There was a few that were really acting like their sign. It got eerie on the middle of the 2nd season. I'm 25 mixes into this Zodiac Tracks thing that we're talking about, and yeah, sometimes the prep was a day or two, just finding everything.
Right.
Sometimes it was 2 or 3 days because I was missing the records, or I got to go dig for it, or I got to go discogs it, or I got to.
Right.
It was constantly pivoting.
Yeah.
It was I was never in control of Zodiac. It had me. I was on the tightrope the whole time.
I mean, did you even figure out, okay, besides pulling out records, I mean, do you figure out, okay, I'm going to mix this there. Did that took you a long time to also, I'm going to, or do you just, I'm going to, whatever I have, boom, I'm going for it?
We're asking for some of the secrets. You don't have to give all to us, brother.
Look, and like I said at the retreat, too, my secrets are your secrets. I'll have 1,000 more in the morning. I'm an idea person. I'm plagued with ideas. I can never get to them. That's always been my role in J5.
Right.
It's been Carla would tell you, it'd be the plague of our relationship. Damn, another idea. Damn. I'm yeah, but I think this one could really work. You know, but yeah, man. I could see it.
Right.
When I talked to Mixmaster Mike at 3 Style in
right.
Chile,
Right.
he was like, man, I was like, yo, man, you're really bouncing really quickly to things and finding your funky pattern fast.
Yeah,
And
really
he's like,
fast.
man, I've been blessed with knowing how to think 4 beats ahead of time, 4 measures ahead of time, 1 beat ahead of time, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. I don't think that in cut terms really, but I think that in records.
Interesting.
So if I know something is dun dun catch, I'm like, oh, that's in key with this. That's how my mind. I'm basically the opposite of. I mix the opposite of Z Trip. So his thing is chocolate, peanut butter, boom, whoa, look at that explosion, right? My shit is that's silk. That also, that's also kind of like rayon. Oh, that's my shit is similars.
Right.
My shit's
I see.
oh, that's going down the line from the 50s on up.
Right.
Oh, that sounds like this. Oh, damn, that big band sounds like an Eric Sermon joint. That's how I think. That's
Interesting.
Nice.
But to those to our students, so we talk about this. We also had a podcast talking about prepping up for gigs or sets. So this is a good example to all our students. So sometimes it's know your stuff, prep up, get everything ready, and then go for it. So that's a wise advice to
Man,
our
you got me
students.
hyped, man. Now I know
Yeah.
you only did 1 or 2 takes, man. I got to step it up.
Man.
I got to step it. That's what I've always loved about you and Cut, and then us as the crew. Every time we see each other, it's somebody's leveled up. Oh man, I got to go back to the lab. You see what
Yeah.
New did tonight? Oh man.
Yep, exactly.
I just want to say, everybody that's here, how many students are here? I can't really get a feel. Oh, this is healthy. All right,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
You guys are in the hands of masters right here, and
Oh man.
Thank you. Thank you.
really.
Thank you, New.
Thanks.
It's been, so we were at Jazzy Jeff's retreat recently, and the Beat Junkies gave a talk at one of Jazzy Jeff's panels, and it hadn't really sunk in to me how important this school is until I was there with my glass of wine in my hand. And I was listening to Babu eloquently go through his speech
Eloquently.
and looking at J-Rock going, yeah, man. hand back, because he had a drink in his hand too.
Yeah. It was
I was
definitely
like,
a feel-good
okay,
trip
so-
for all of us.
So like me and Jay are loosened up. Okay, that's cool. And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks where, like, I always know what you guys are doing is really special here, but I got goosebumps watching y'all that day on stage because you're giving some really incredible tools to the next generation. And when you guys are gone, this is a tradition that's going to live strong, man. So congratulations to y'all.
That's what we're building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, that's what it's about, though, man. It's like it's showing the next generation on how to get down with all this stuff. Because my thing is this: I can show anybody, and the same thing I said to playlist. I can show anybody anything in my arsenal. I have no problem showing you anything that you guys want to learn. But my thing is that your presentation is always going to be different from mine. No matter how you learn the move from me, you're still going to present it differently from your perspective, not from the way that I do it at all. So that's why I have no problem showing anything to anybody. That's why we opened the school.
It's I think the hardest thing to do in this industry. If there's only one piece of advice I could give, I would really only give one anyway. If it even matters to anybody, but if you want one piece of advice, it'd be find yourself.
Yes.
Church.
Yep.
It's very difficult. I mean, how many people do we know that sound like Dilla right now, right? And like, and look, I'm not bringing that down. That journey will bring you to who you are, but make sure that that's the end game. Is who are you? Because no one can replicate you. I've heard a million of Dilla knockoff beats, and it's still like,
not even close to Dilla.
man, that was banging, but I don't get that thing in my chest.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
So that'd be like the biggest thing I would say, man. And it's a long journey. Sometimes it's right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just like, I got the blinders on. I got the horse blinders on. I don't need anybody's input.
Right.
And you're just a prodigy at the age of like 6, and you're
Right.
like, you just go, and you see that like a lot of times on these, you
Right.
see kids doing this, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Like,
Everyone has their own journey. Basically.
but especially in DJ, you go out, you watch, qbert or Shortcut or you guys or whatever, and you're like, damn, I need to do more of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just, okay, how do you corral that in and make it you?
I look for it just for inspiration, not to like really. I'm not trying to bite anybody's anything. I'll learn the move and then just create my own with it. That's what you've been doing for all these years. Let's talk about the Zodiac thing a little bit more, because I want to talk about how you actually linked up with Method Man. And you, since from making these Zodiac mixes, you linked up with Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan, and you made a record with them. Let's talk about that. And also, you're doing a TV show with them too. So break it on down, please.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm on a television show called Drop the Mic with Method Man. He's the host, and I'm the DJ, and there's a beatboxer, and the whole premise of the show is celebrities rap battling against each other. It's funny. I like to laugh.
Yeah.
That you do know about me.
Yeah. We all do.
So I said yes right away, obviously, but in that time, the Zodiac Tracks mixes that I was doing on Facebook were coming to a close. It was the end of the second year.
Right.
And I was like, man, do I do a live show with this? Like, I might even talk to y'all about it a little bit. I'm like, damn, how do I end this? Do I end it? Do I keep going? What do I do? And again, I ended at this thing like, no, you get to challenge yourself more, end this, and go on to the next journey.
Right.
Despite what my boy Amani told me, he was like, keep going, keep going, keep going. But
We say that too. Keep going, man.
yeah,
Keep
but
going.
at the end of it, I was like, Meth, I got this track. It's called Zodiac. I want to call it Zodiac Killer. And I explained to him the premise, and I was like, I honored you the first year, blah, blah, blah. And he was up at my DJ station while we were at like a commercial break, or we were doing some break. And I just put the headphones on his ears, and 3 beats in, he's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with this new. Oh, he just got like that. He
Got
got
hype.
his meth swag, and that whole thing. I'm like, I look back at the band who was behind me. I'm like, I think we got one. Shit, I got it. Okay, so. But it ended up being the most unique recording session of my life. And I've had a lot of recording sessions at my studio. Thank God I have a studio that really welcomes good energy from MCs. It's just a comfortable studio.
Yeah.
And he walked in. He walked in and went right to the correct pair of headphones to listen to the track, turned it up to the right volume, and said, let's go. Most of the time, MCs want to come to my house. They want to talk about they're fighting with the girl,
Right.
or something Trump did on television, or,
Current events.
Their car insurance is tripping, and they want to get...
They want to get personal.
My house is like that. My studio is like that. They want to let it out. Like, okay, what are we tracking today, new? And then we get into it. Not him. He must have been all cheat up and ready to go, because he was laser laser focus, went in, knocked it out, one take, Jake.
Yeah.
And we only fixed like a P-pop on, one of those. That's it.
But I think also that might also be too because he was feeding off your energy and he knows how professional you are and heard the beat like, man, that beat's slamming. Then walked in and he was like, okay, I got to get on it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was that, man.
You don't think it was that?
No, he's just meth, man. He walks up on set and there's like, a television set is like 150 plus people on set working. You got guys moving cameras. You got all kinds of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
He knows everybody's name, shaking their hands before he even goes to the stage to practice his parts for our shit that's going to happen 4 or 5 hours later. He's professional. He's that dude.
Yeah.
He's that dude.
That's how you have to be in this business, though, if you want to win.
He straightened the hell up out of my spine. Let me tell you, for real. For real.
Made you step
I was
it
like,
up.
I thought I was doing something. I'm not okay. Like, start moving this. So okay, for real. Like he's an interesting specimen, man. Like he's a trip.
Nice, man. And I hope to hear more records from you guys too, man. You know what I'm saying? That'd be really dope.
Speaking of records, also you did a project with Trey from the Far Side,
yep.
And you have a group called what? Trademark?
Yeah. So Trademark is like our fun getaway from, our solo projects, our, him being in Far Side, me and J5, like our escape to doing like what we want to do, and we just get along really well. And Trey understands where I'm headed musically. Yeah. And so it's just a relationship, really. Yeah. And I was like, well, if it feels this easy, let's record. That's how I am a lot of the time. So they don't have to be a known person. If I'm vibing,
yeah,
and I'm feeling something like, okay, I think we can go someplace, or if they trust me, that's a big one. I'm in.
Nice.
I'm 2 feet in.
Are we gonna expect any more future projects with Trey?
I don't know, man. I'm in vacation mode right now. I'm ready.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I'm ready for Cancun right now, man. Like I've put out so much. I don't know what's next. I really don't.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like as much as we're artists and always giving energy out, giving. How important is it for us to recharge? Because that's what Playlist Retreat was about recharging. You know what I'm saying? So talk to the people on the internet and also the people here in the school about recharging and how much you should be giving, how much you should be giving back to yourself also too.
For me, I don't know what's happening. I get to this thing where I'm like, man, I can't do anything. Like, what's wrong with me? And then it's just like, oh, I haven't had a break in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I have to like literally say it out loud. Like, why am I not outputting the way I used to? Or why am I whack? Like literally, like what?
Well, feeling whack. You're not whack.
Well, no, like whatever the goal is, I'm like this. I should have been able to do this like in the 80s. Why am I not able to execute this? So for me, it's been fatigue. And it's boring talking about being fatigued, but it's important to know when to take a break.
Yeah.
Right. Just like it's important. And that whole thing, like, I don't sleep, God, like that's dead.
No sleep.
Yeah, that's
no
dead.
sleep now.
That's dead. Get that sleep.
Yeah, get that sleep.
Because in the morning you're gonna have some of the illest things come out of you for real. Like I do some of the most amazing things in the morning that I did that. That's me. Like I'm tripping. Nice. Beats like production. Like I used to make beats at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and do that whole, late night, phone's not ringing, this is cool thing, which is dope. The phone not ringing is amazing. But in the morning, your mind is fresh. That's a whole nother world right there. Your unconscious mind hasn't woken up yet. It's like, hey, how about this idea?
That's pretty.
And you're like, whoa, that is a great idea. Then it wakes up by noon. You're like, oh, everything's all mechanical and mathematical, and you're like, I'm gonna go have lunch.
As far as like future projects for you, what can people look out for, and what can we expect from Numark coming into the rest of 2019, going to 2020 and beyond?
I don't know about 2019. I'm trying to get a drum pack out, my first ever drum pack for producers. Is there any producers here? There's producers here.
Oh yeah, there's a few.
Okay, yeah, there's
a few of them.
All right. So I'm trying to do a drum pack. I have like 6 packs worth. I didn't realize I made that many, but I spent since I had, I guess, for lack of a better term, I don't believe in writer's block, but I kind of have writer's block. So I was just like, man, I'll make drum sounds, because people always hit me up about drum sounds on my inbox. So I was like, yeah, I'll just make a bunch then. And so I'm making that, so hopefully I'll be able to release that. And then I just started working on a project called Run for Cover, which is going to be all covers.
See how this man's mind be thinking, boy? Run for Cover, all cover songs. Dope.
So I have 2 songs recorded, so I'm gonna approach that a little bit more
But
seriously.
recharge first. Go get that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Go to
after
Cancun.
After
Go
Cancun.
Get that vacation
Go
in
to
first
Cancun.
and come back. Let's have some questions from the audience real quick. I know you guys want to see him perform though, and get down on the turntables, right? And all these other things we have up here. Before we do that though, let's get some questions from the audience. Anybody have any questions? Please raise your hand, and Sammy G will take the microphone to you.
1, 2, go.
Make sure you say your name nice and loud so we can hear, and make sure we can hear your question. All right.
How
Hey
you doing?
man, I'm Jonathan. Damn, that's loud. I'm a big fan of Take Me With You.
Oh man, I'm glad you heard it.
Quite a few times. It sits in the car, actually, no joke. I wanted to know what your inspiration was for that, how that all came together. Because again, with all your mixes, it seems so well thought out, but so much work laid out. And then on top of that, what's following that? Because you better have something to follow that up
Yeah,
with.
wow. That's. I'm glad you heard it, man. You just don't know nowadays who hears what, right? I mean, you throw something out and it's like you're talking to them about it, like the so-and-so thing I did, and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, new. And so this is. By the way, the Take Me With You mix is probably the only thing I've ever done that I can listen to. Yeah, I never listen to any of my music or any of my mixes. None of the Zodiac. None of the stuff with J5. Nothing. I don't really listen back to it and go, wow, I really crushed that. None of that.
Is it because of the mentality, like once you've done it, you're done with it, and it doesn't really matter? I mean, it still matters, of course, but you're not really tripping on going back to see how you did with it or how it sounds.
I'm always
now.
editing. They always say a song's never done. So
Yeah.
it's like that with mixes too. But I'm sorry. Your original question was, am I going to follow it up? There was some before that.
Afterwards was, are you going to follow it up with anything? But
Yeah.
my first was, how did you build that and start with that region of the world?
Kind of going back to what Chalk was asking me before, I think in eras and genres. So, yeah, it was all Latin-based. It was all Latin-based music, and I love Latin music, and I know that, I went into that mix going, yeah, I'll do a Latin mix, and it just kicked my ass, because it's like, yeah, you're not even scratching the surface, buddy. So I kept going back to the drawing board, like, oh, I need more samba. Oh, I need some calypso. Oh, I need some cumbias. Oh, I kept going back to the drawing board and going, oh, let me just actually just slow it down. So, yeah, that was just one of those things where I had a bunch of songs saved, and I guess I didn't want people to just think of me as just a hip-hop guy or just a funk and soul guy. I really love multiple genres,
You opened it up for me and my wife. We learned about so many other genres. And we're like,
Excellent.
oh, we're going to get on that now. So
Excellent.
that's why I was curious. And then how do you follow that up if you are going
Yeah.
to another section of the world?
So I've been putting off a mix for, 6 years, 7 years now, called, I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Iranian, and so I'm putting off a mix to show my respect to my roots, because it's
Nice.
so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's not like Take Me With You. I'm not Latin, so I can, hey, here's a Latin mix. So that one's going to be, it's an all Middle Eastern mix, and it's going to be called Between Iraq and a Hard Place. Yeah, and I got...
See how this man's mind works, man?
Thank
Come
you. I
on,
think you
man.
nailed
We all got to step it up, y'all. We all got to step it up. Man, Numark, Uncle New.
I mean, I haven't done anything. That's just the title. But,
But still, the title speaks volumes by itself.
Yeah.
Without even hearing the product.
Well,
I want to hear it already.
Hey,
I-
the
I-
pressure,
I-
the pressure.
I saw an interview once. I forgot which band it was, but they're talking about how to make hit records in the 70s. I want to say it was Steely Dan. I forgot which band it was. It's going to drive me crazy. But they're asking them how they made hit records or how they put out a successful project. And they're like, yeah, we came up with the album title first. And I'm like, and then we came up with the song title, and then the hook, and then the lyrics. Mind you, this is after the music is laid, right? I'm just speaking lyrically and like concept-wise.
Right.
And that like stuck with me. I was like, yo, because I can't tell you how many times I've been in a studio with an MC. I play a beat and they're writing the rhymes. I'm like, yo, slow down, because we don't even know where we're headed. Like, so you're writing this long, like heavy paragraph, but what's the hook? What's the focal point? And so that kind of like was the start of Take Me With You. I was like, well, Take Me With You, like every time like people think I'm on tour, like having fun, I'm just seeing the indoors of like venues and sound checking, playing next place, tour bus, sound checking, playing. You're not really like touring the city. But people are like, take me with you. So that's how that mix came out.
That's a
All right,
dope.
thank you very much.
Amazing.
Dope concept.
Amazing.
All right.
Questions from the audience. Who else we got over here?
So my question is, as a fellow digger,
What's your name, man?
My name's Jerry.
What's up, Jerry?
Nice to meet you,
Jerry,
Jerry.
what's up? Nice to meet you. What is your inspiration when you go digging? What's your thought process, and what are your secret spots that you dig at so we can go follow you around?
Aha.
Well, unfortunately, there's no more secrets left, right? When I was digging, I remember having the time of my life in an attic. Oh my God, with Cut in New Orleans, and we went to this guy's house. Okay, we're in a taxi, and we went to this guy's. We got dropped off. The taxi driver's like, "Yo, you guys sure?"
Wait, no, I know what you're talking about. It's not. It's Chicago.
No, this
Are
is
you
this
sure?
is definitely New Orleans.
Because I know the other one too. Also, when you went to Chicago.
It was
too.
New Orleans. Boy, was it New Orleans, and
Nolans.
and they're like, "You sure you want to go in this neighborhood?" We're like, "Yeah, this is where the private dealer is." To kind of answer your question, private dealers would be kind of hint number one, I guess. And we kept going, and it's like dudes outside with their shirts off, like, set tripping and everything. And so then they just let us out. And we're like, oh, man. And then an old man across the street's like, yo, over here. So we're like, oh, hopefully that's the dealer.
Uh-huh.
So if not the record dealer, it's a different type of dealer.
You're going to find out one way or another.
Yeah. So we go there, and he's like, hi, I'm Eddie. Oh, man, nice to meet you. Glad we found the place. He brings out this huge ladder, and he's missing the awning over the top of his house. So it just goes ladder to attic.
Damn.
So there's like a window. You know how you see sometimes like a window in an attic?
Yeah.
So he just goes like ladder to like a little ledgeway and then a window into an attic.
Oh.
It's dead of summer, New Orleans, swampy,
Oh,
hot,
my goodness.
nasty.
The humidity. Ugh.
We get up in there, cobwebs. It's like the roof looks exactly like this, just like this. But we're like, maybe from that fan to the roof was what we have to work with. Maybe less. We were crouched down like this.
Uh-huh.
It was bliss. It was like, this, really? This exists. I thought this was like, something only Biz talked about, or like, we were finding things left and right. So stories like that I don't have anymore. I remember one other story. I was in Brazil, and I was in a basement, and I was digging for like 5 hours straight. My hands were like literally black, and a beautiful girl walks down the staircase and is like, I have some food for you. And I'm like, I'm in heaven. I was single. I'm like, this is amazing. Like all those stories will always forever be with me. And obviously it was before the internet, and it was before people could size you up before my group got known, and they could size me up when I went to a record store and says, oh, that's new, up the price, because a lot of stores, you know how it is, a lot of stores don't have price tags, right? So there's, And then the internet came, and everything kind of leveled out. Like, it just was like, okay, we got a new batter. And it's like, now everything's at this price, which honestly is the way I'm digging now, man. I'm sorry I don't have a more provocative story nowadays, but I don't get the thrill of the hunt and the kill like I used to. Like, I really enjoyed the hunt of finding a rare record.
Because you got them all now.
No, definitely not.
I know
Definitely
you
not.
don't. I
Yeah,
know you
definitely
don't.
not.
Yeah.
But that feeling I used to get in my chest, like, damn, I got it for $5, or like a 99-cent thing. The guy two people down from you, me and him bought 20,000 records when we were 16 for $500 at a flea market.
Look at him laughing too. He's just
Yeah.
laughing like ha 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 ha.
And look, like I'd say from, Cut and I did equal portions of production on Jurassic 5 records. I'd say, from my half, I'd say about 20 to 30% of those beats from Quality Control or the EP were from that collection. So it was,
Wow.
It turned out good. Now look, there's a lot of terrible records in that collection. Terrible. God awful. I don't even know why the guy was collecting them. And Amani, he has his Airbnb thing, and he teaches students how to cut and stuff like that too. And so he's been giving them some of that collection too.
We had that conversation
So-
earlier. brother.
Full circle, baby.
Yeah.
I love it. I love giving back and learning, and yeah.
That's what it is. We got time for maybe one or two more questions, and then we're gonna get to performance.
How you doing? I'm Big Lou.
Nice to meet you, Lou.
Nice to meet you as well. So you mentioned earlier that you're an idea guy. So how long do you sit with an idea before you decide, okay, I'm going to go with this, or I'm just going to shelf it?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, man. That's actually been more of my thought process than anything else lately. I have like a dry erase board now in the back of my studio when I close the door, because I'm kind of locked in the studio with my own ideas at that point. And my whole thing is, how many can I erase? What on the list is potent?
Oh, that's kind of dope.
That's dope.
What on the list is gonna? For a long time, I was doing lateral moves, right? I'm gonna make another underground beat. 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 It's like, Bueller, just kept, right? Lateral. I wasn't moving towards the goal line. The coach was pissed. That's how mixes like Take Me With You kind of came about. I was like, what do I like? Who am I? It goes back to being yourself and all that. And so for me, the idea thing, there's just too many ideas. And I was telling Chalk at Playlist, just take my ideas because it'll clear my dry erase board or my desktop, whatever you want to call it, and make room for something else that's been knocking, trying to get in. But yeah, I just look at the list and go, which one of y'all don't deserve to be here? That's it.
Dope.
That is dope.
Dope. We got time for one or two more? One or two more questions? Yep. All right.
Who's the DJ? I know Mixmaster Ice was your dude, right? But who's the DJ that really cracked you open? I think I know the answer, but who's the DJ that really was like, dude, this is it? I know we love Jeff, but I don't think it was Jeff. There was somebody that cracked you open.
Excuse me, sir, what's your name?
Burt Blackrat.
and with a voice to match.
Oh, no,
too,
I know.
right?
Baritone, brother.
It was definitely DJ Aladdin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Aladdin. Come on, give it up for Aladdin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the homie right there. One of the illest ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Aladdin, man, Aladdin is a shining example of a lot of things, man. Aladdin was the first dude I watched on DMC tapes. And I actually found myself rewinding and going, oh, you're supposed to stand different. I was looking at the way he was standing.
His presence behind the turntables.
I mean,
yes.
I'm sure there's a lot of students that are like this right now, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Back in, got the, Yeah.
Aladdin had his shit all,
Yeah.
like a sport, like almost like the logo on the baseball logo.
Oh, yeah.
He had a stance. There was something. His hips were in line. His left foot was forward when he was cutting on his left side. His right foot was forward when he was cutting on,
Yeah.
And if he was doubling, he was shifting.
Yeah.
He danced with his shit, man. His shit looked so nasty and funky and effortless and flawless.
Make some noise for DJ Aladdin, y'all. One of the illest ever. One of the reasons why all of us are here, because we all grew up just like New,
That's right.
watching and listening to DJ Aladdin, man.
Now look. Now to go back to what I said, you can be Aladdin,
But you can never be Aladdin.
But you can never be Aladdin. That's one thing.
Right.
But the next generation came in, and it was the Qberts and everybody else's, and that just goes to show you, he was at mastery level to me. He was. When I met him, I was fumbling over my words. Like when I met Bill Withers, I was fumbling I couldn't get a cohesive sentence out of my damn mouth to say, man, it was bad.
Yeah.
He was that dude.
Yeah.
And then the next generations came in, y'all included, and it was like, what's happening? And that was my learning experience. Like, okay, there ain't no end game.
Yeah.
There ain't no.
But
just enjoy this and just be the best you can be.
But you're right, though, because when Aladdin didn't come out, you thought, man, no one could get any better than this. You could probably get to that level, but there's nothing after this level. And then you're right, Q and all those guys, Invisible Scratch Pickles, and the Junkies and everybody, and X-Men, we all came out and leveled up from there. But that all came from being inspired by DJ Aladdin, for sure.
This is true.
And cats like Aladdin, like Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, and, and Joe Cooley.
The list is stupid long for me, but I mean, to be
Scratch.
the one to answer
right.
you, A Strong,
Good question.
that'd be the one.
Yeah.
All right. I know we've been talking for a long time, y'all. I know you guys are ready to see some DJing and some things go down on these turntables. Am I right? Okay, maybe not. That didn't sound loud enough for me, but are you guys ready to see the legendary Uncle New, DJ-Numark, on the set one time? Make some noise.
Chip.
Yep, so we're going to take a little break real quick, maybe 2-3 minutes. Let him get set up, and then it's showtime after that, all right? Thank you guys for all being here. Thank you, Facebook Live, for tuning in. This is the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound Q&A workshop going down with the legendary DJ-Numark, y'all. Hey! Okay.
Ask me about the Beat Junkies, man. If you ain't already knowing about the Beat Junkies, then I ain't even gotta say shit to you. Period. Yeah.
Beat Junkie Radio.
Mama say, mama sa, mama makusa. Mama say, mama sa, mama makusa. Sing it now. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Either you, Cut, or Jay were probably the first ones I saw play this record. I was like, wow, you can play this in your DJ sets? Oh, okay. Big ups once again to all the students in the place to be. Appreciate y'all coming out. Also, everybody else that's not a student, we appreciate y'all coming out also, too. Thank you, guys. If you've been wondering about this school, now you know. This is the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. Get your DJ bars up. Come see us, all right? Uh-oh, I see a ladies of sound picture happening over there. Lots of smiles, lots of smiles. All right.